Hey there guys, what's going on? Earlier this week I was given a little bit of a task by one of you guys in the comments, I believe it was VForce X, who wanted to see my personal class setups and loadouts for Modern Warfare and Warzone. Now, typically with these class setups, I do have 5 that always stick around, which we'll talk about last, and the top 5 are more ones that change fairly frequently, like those are the ones that do get changed an awful lot, so we'll talk about those first, and in the sort of first couple of slots, yeah, we might see some Warzone classes and some multiplayer classes, and then the bottom 5 are the ones that I keep around for just wreck and shop in multiplayer lobbies as well, which is really fun to have, just to have weapons that are really strong. A lot of these classes are set up as some of the best in the game at the moment, but just before we do get into talking about them, let's try and get this video to 20 likes. The support from you guys on all of the videos recently has been absolutely fantastic, so I do appreciate you stopping by and taking a look at this video. If you are looking for the best loadouts, I do make videos on them quite often, so stick around for those if you're interested. Right, so our first loadout today is of course one that is based for Warzone. That's why it's at the top of this list. It does say Assault, but it's really just sort of what the first one on this list. Like, the top 5 for me typically swap around a lot, and I can sort of change these interchangeably, like these change around fairly often, and sort of the bottom 5 are ones that are set in stone, the classes that I like the most, and they're my favorite ones at the moment. So of course, this one is more of a Warzone class. This is typically the one that I go to straight away, like you get that loadout drop, you jump on it straight away, and this is what you're after. Pretty much we do have a Grau 5.56, which is one of the best assault rifles in Warzone, and we've set it up like this with the monolithic suppressor, the Tempest 26.4 inch Archangel barrel, the no stock, the Commando foregrip, and of course the 60 round mags. This is basically a good option for pretty much any engagement that you can get in, like long range, medium range, short range. It's not super great, but we do have another weapon for that, of course. In the secondary slot, as I mentioned already, we do have the 357 snake shot revolver set up in the usual way with the long barrel, the 1mW laser, the lightweight trigger, the snake shot, and of course the akimbo. These are getting nerfed very soon along with the RPG, so we might end up seeing more different options in the secondary slot, but we'll have to wait and see for that. In the perk slot, we've got a fairly standard loadout in Warzone at the moment with Cold-Blooded, Ghost, and Amped. Cold-Blooded is for staying off of those thermal sights, of course. Ghost is for staying off those UAVs and radars, and heartbeat sensors, which is really important, and of course Amped is for switching your weapon faster. Pretty simple perk setup, that's fairly standard, and you will see this on my other Warzone class setup that we're going to talk about here. Typically, I do run the C4 on most of my classes here, unless it's sort of one that's designed to sort of hold positions when this you'll see a proximity mine or a claymore and so on. And the tactical in Warzone at the moment, typically you'd run the heartbeat sensor, but I'm playing with a lot of friends at the moment and some of them are running heartbeat sensors as well, so having 4 of them isn't really necessary. So somebody's got to run stuns or flashes or some kind of utility, so that's the role I'm taking at the moment, grabbing a little bit of utility and being able to actually sort of take advantage of stunning people and then killing them fairly easily. These are really effective in Warzone at the moment, especially if a couple of your mates are running heartbeat sensors. So class 1, that's it there. That's what we have working with the Grau 5.56 at the moment. Moving on to the second class here, which is actually a multiplayer class in which we do enjoy sniping with the Kar 98K. We haven't made a video on this yet, so you might see one soon. Of course, we have set this up as more of a quickscoping class, sort of rushing around on those close maps that have made quickscoping so famous for so long. So of course, we do have the TAC laser just for that increased aim down sight speed because it's very powerful to get that. The sniper scope, of course, you need this to sort of hit those quick scopes and hit those sick trick shots. It's all very good fun. The F-Tac Sport Comb for the increase to the aim down sight speed, the stipple grip tape for the same thing, and of course the focus perk so your aim doesn't go to the moon once you do get shot. In the secondary slot, we do of course have the Renity at the moment, which is another very powerful close range option. If you are on PC, this is one of the most powerful sidearms in the game. If you're on console, it's a little bit less powerful as the recoil can be a little bit harder to control, but either of these 2 options that I've presented already are very powerful, so you can take your pick pretty much. In the perk slot, we do have a very standard sort of multiplayer setup with EOD, Ghost, and Tracker. I already explained what Ghost did. EOD stops you dying to explosives, and Tracker lets you see enemy footsteps. C4 again in the lethal slot, Stim Shot also in the tactical, basically on every single one of my multiplayer classes just because it's way too powerful. So again, another one of these little classes that we do have for multiplayer is a sniping one. Very cool, and I will make a video on this soon. In the third slot, we do have another Warzone class setup. This is the sniping one. This is the one where I want to take people out from distance, which is very cool. Of course, we do have the AX50 in this slot just because I think this looks sick, and it aims down sight slightly faster than the HDR class setup that I've got at the moment. Here we do have the monolithic suppressor for the damage range, the Singular Arms Pro Barrel for the damage range and bullet velocity, which is really important in Warzone for sniping. We do of course have the TAC laser, the thermal sight, because I'm a bit of a bot, you can also swap this out for the regular sniper scope and then say grab the stippled grip tape. And of course you need the Singular Arms Assassin stock just for the aim down sight speed. This is a pretty standard sniping class, especially if you are after the thermal sight. Again, if you don't want to run the thermal sight, you're more confident in the map and knowing everything about Warzone, drop the thermal and pick up the stipple grip tape. It'll make you a lot better for sure. Again, in the secondary slot, again, with just the pretty standard 357 class setup, cold-blooded ghost and amped again for the weapon switch speed, sort of UAV resistance, and of course, staying off of people's thermal sights. Again, we do have a heartbeat sensor here instead of a stim shot or a stun grenade, just because we need to know where people are on the map. This is better for solos and stuff like that, but of course you can also run this in teams and sort of combine your loadouts together. It's pretty effective. Another multiplayer one here. This is a little bit sweaty, and we're going to make a video on this particular class setup as well. This is a Model 680 class with the Dragon's Breath round, which is really, really powerful. This is probably the best shotgun in the game at the moment. We've got the Forged Tac Marauder for the damage range and tighter pellet spread. Barrel slot, we do have the XRK 30-inch Sport, which is the damage range, tighter pellet spread, and increased tube ammo capacity barrel, which is really, really powerful for this. The 1 milliwatt laser, of course, just to get that increase to our sprint to fire speed, and of course the nose stock for the aim down sight speed and movement speed. Very, very powerful class here for rushing around. Really, it does only work on those smaller maps, as well as sometimes you can get it to work if you play in a specific way on those larger maps as well. Again, running a similar 357 class setup here. You can also rock the Deagle, or you've got the Renetti. There's a lot of different options that you can run here. These perks are basically all wrong. We want EOD or Quick Fix. Quick Fix is really powerful for shotguns. Then we want Ghost and we want Tracker as well. C4 again, tactical is not the smoke. We do want the stim shot, of course. The smoke was for a different class that I was trying to work out. And yeah, that's pretty much the fourth class that we do have here. Another little running around one, rushing everywhere with a shotgun. Pretty powerful in this case. This particular one here, we do have another multiplayer one. This is the one we did feature yesterday with the Bruin MK9, which does have the monolithic suppressor, the nose stock, the Commando foregrip, the 60 round mags, and the stippled grip tape, of course. Really, really powerful options here. If you're after a little bit more damage range, well, the cost of a little bit of aim down sight speed, you pick up, or you drop the Commando foregrip, and then you pick up the Horizon barrel, as it doesn't give you too many negatives in terms of movement speed. Yeah, this is a very, very powerful class, especially with these 60 round mags at the moment. Super, super strong. Again, another 357 class as well. EOD, Ghost, and Tracker, very standard perks. C4 and the Stim Shot are all very, very standard here. Now getting into some of my more favorite classes in the game here, we do have my Grau 556 class setup. This is typically very similar to the Warzone class that we did present earlier with the XRK Void 2 grip instead of the no stock, which again, you can pretty much choose between these two. There is no real difference in sort of the movement speed bonuses and aim down sight speed bonuses that you do get. Both of these options make you more mobile, and I think I'm actually going to drop the XRK Void 2 and take the no stock here, just because I think it is a little bit stronger of an option at the moment, just to let you move around the map a lot faster. But this is one of the best guns in the game for sure. I think it's better than the M4 in my opinion, but of course I'm happy to be wrong. So yeah, really good Grau class here. Again, some kind of Renetti or 357 combo here, just a nice close range setup to make sure that we do kill people who are way too close to us. Again, fairly standard perks here with EOD, restock, and shrapnel. This is more for holding different power positions on maps and stuff like that. You play a little bit slower, you hold power positions, you track proximity mines down to make sure people can't flank you and stuff like that, and you rock the stim shot as well. Another very standard class, one of the best in the game at the moment for sure. Next, we do have our Ram 7 class, which again, one of the more powerful weapons in the game. We've set it up like this with the monolithic suppressor, the FSS Ranger barrel, the Commando foregrip, the 50 round mags, and of course the stippled grip tape. This is a really accurate, really mobile, high damaging, high fire rate assault rifle. That's super, super powerful in this game and really underrated. Unfortunately, they did add better assault rifles than this. Like, this was one of the best ones in the game due to the high fire rate and accuracy, but then they kept adding better guns, and you're like, well, that sucks. Bit lame, but yeah, this is one of the best classes in the game for sure at the moment. And again, some kind of 357 or Renetti based secondary, EOD Ghost Tracker, C4, and the Stim Shot as well. Next, we do have our MP7 class setup here with the monolithic suppressor, the FSS Recon barrel, the no stock, the 60 round mags, and of course the Merc foregrip. Really powerful option for rushing around as usual with a submachine gun. Very, very powerful at range, like surprisingly so powerful at range. Like, does way better at range than you'd probably think it would do initially. The secondary, again, some kind of Renetti class setup just to be really powerful up close as well. EOD Ghost Tracker, C4, and Stim Shot. Very, very standard sort of last part of these class setups. They're all pretty much the same at the end because they're all very, very powerful options. Our MP5 is a little different to what it was at the start of the game with the monolithic integral suppressor for the increased bullet velocity, which is really, really powerful, and integrated silencer as well. The F-Tac collectible for the movement speed and aim down sight speed bonuses, the stipple grip tape for the similar things with the aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, 45 round mag so we can pretty much fire until the end of time, and of course the Merc foregrip to help keep us on target. This is one of the best MP5 classes at the moment, and you really just shred people. You don't even need the 10mm rounds sometimes. You just go through so many people. It's so wild. And if you do see anybody running the MP5 on a double XP weekend, just no, they're not good people, man. Like, good people don't run an MP5 on a double XP weekend. It's so sweaty. Of course, again, some kind of Renetti or 357 based class for the secondary as well. These are pretty similar on most of these classes. EOD Ghost Tracker, C4, and a Stim Shot as well. Again, same exact sort of secondary perk and lethal tactical loadout again. This is a really, really powerful Russian class as well, because this particular MP5 class setup is one of the best in the game. And lastly, we do have our M4 build, which I believe is one of the more powerful in the game at the moment, with the monolithic suppressor for the range, the stock M16 Grenadier for the range, bullet velocity, and recoil control, the no stock for the movement speed and aim down sight speed. This is the one that sort of keeps us from being way too slow when we do have these 60 round mags attached, and the commando foregrip as well does help us keep on sight. We do have this nice one, gold, nice shiny weapon here. Again, a Renetti based class, very similar, again, just sort of up close and personal. So EOD is for when you're dying to lots of explosives, and Quick Fix is more of a general option for sort of getting that health regeneration started as soon as possible. And a Ghost and Tracker are very, very standard together as well. And then we do have the C4 and the Stim Shot. So hopefully I have cut this down to a decent length and it's not too long. Like 15 minutes of me just rambling about classes is not going to be the most entertaining thing. But hopefully you did get a little bit of information about this and some ideas for some example class setups that you can definitely put to use, because these are very, very powerful classes in the game, especially these last 5. Like, I always keep these around just in case I have to mess up a lobby. Like, someone's talking trash or whatever, you got to get in that lobby and start shredding people. So those last 5 are the ones that stick around all the time, and these 5s do sort of swap fairly frequently. The first and third loadouts, for some reason, are the ones that I've chosen for my Warzone classes. Obviously, I could have more, but again, the rest of these 3 are just sort of swapping in between, apart from maybe the Brew, and I think I do really, really like this class setup, so we might keep that around. Anyway, if you did enjoy this one, make sure you do leave a like and do subscribe if you are new around here, of course. I do very much appreciate you checking this out and using these classes, because they are very, very powerful. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!